And I think this is a mistake that a lot of companies make too with data science. And I know you and I have talked a lot about this in our meetings, but I think one of the things that they have a lot of trouble with is they think that there's some sort of a statistical model or an algorithm that's like the silver bullet, and if they only need that one, and they're going to solve everything, and it's going to happen really fast. They're just going to have this data, and all of a sudden they're going to have a pop out an answer, right? They want instant, gratification. Here's my answer, and that's just not the way data science works. It's not the way data works, and the first step they usually just jump right over. The first step is identifying the problem, having a clear definition of what is the problem you're trying to solve. And and are you really focusing on the right problem, or is there something else? And you're looking at symptoms, not the actual problem. And so that's what we do a lot in the very first semester. What I've been working with them is figure out what your problem is and have parameters around it, define it, get your stakeholders behind it, like ask the stakeholders, is this the real problem? And then start looking for the types of data that you need in order to inform the decisions that you inform your decisions, right? So there's lots of, and they also think there's only one data source or one data set, like the magic data set they're all going to get somehow. And that's not it. There's no, think about the different data sources that might bear on this from very disparate areas and how you might get a hold of those. And then once you do, realize that they're not going to all be in the same format. They're all going to be very messy. I tell them they're going to spend 80% of their time cleaning and pre-processing data before they ever start modeling it. But most of my students, and I see this also in industry, they jump straight to, I have a data set, I need to find a problem in it. And it's like, no, you can't expect the data to give you both the problem and the answer, right? It needs, you need to know what the problem is, then go look for the types of data that might actually answer that problem.
I find that this actually, I think it comes from our evangelism of technology, which obviously I run a company called Tech for Non-Techies, so I'm pro technology, but I think we put it on such a high pedestal that we think, okay, like there is some algorithm, like we'll just put in the algorithm and then there'll be an equation and then everything will be fine. But essentially finding out the right problem, that's not a mathematical problem. That's more of that's a right brain situation. That's more social sciences, that's more arts, that's more kind of, understanding potentially the human condition of like what's really going on and delving deeper. And only once you've done the non-tech thing can you actually use tools. Whereas I think now there's like, oh, there are all these tools. Like, it's kind of like, I have a power drill. Let me go and make a hole. Like, do you need
right. Right. Yeah. And sometimes they, have one hammer, they know how to use the hammer. And so everything looks like a nail. It's like, no. There's you gotta have lots of different tools depending on what it is you're trying to fix, right? Or what you're trying to do. And I find that to be probably the biggest hurdle that they struggle with. And once they start, when that light bulb goes off, then they're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Well, exactly. A product is a solution to a problem.